They are going to Five Nights at Freddy you. It doesn't look like they're here to give us a handshake and a pat on the back. Those people. Those lowlifes making up and passing around stories imagining the tragedies that might have unfolded around us on this island. They found it so fascinating that I never talked about the truth, that they kept on creating tragedies one after another for their own enjoyment. I see. So, they're fragments from the future, imagining the cat box of 1986 however they please. In the world of the future, any and all interpretations can and do exist. Unless we deny them, everyone will be able to claim that their own view is the truth, and they will remain on this island. Ha 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 ha! What a fix we're in! Looks like we're surrounded and fighting for our lives. What are they doing? They're eating. They're eating something. Hey, Sakutaro! Also Carlson Cannon. Again, Sakutaro is just young Leon Ushiromia. They're eating the roses. The crowd of goats was squirming about and doing something. If you looked closely, you could see them sticking their heads into rose bushes and munching away. And it wasn't just the rose bushes. Light poles, the bricks of the flower beds, and even the stone paving itself. They were biting all of it. Almost as if they were trying to eat up the whole island. I would say it's the bite of 87, but that is technically how 1986 ends. It becomes 1987. No, they aren't just eating. If they aren't eating, what are they doing? Both of these people are the same person. I know I said before, like, Sayo Yasuda is also Leon Ushiromia, is also Shannon, is also Cannon, is also Beatrice. They are all the same person. It's Tyler Durden. Hi, Tyler Durden. This whole game is just Edward Norton talking to himself. And Brad Pitt being in a... That is not eating. Again, everyone here is the same person. Everyone currently on the screen is the same person. It's just, hi, Tyler Durden. They are eroding it, shaving away at the edges of the game board itself. They're eating the game board? In the world of the future, everyone believes we were swallowed up by tragedy today. That's why they won't accept a truth where we enjoy ourselves in peace. Truths of the past are subordinate to the truths of the future. The merciless future fangs and jaws of those goats refuse to accept our truth and are eroding it, replacing it with the kind of truth they expect. Damn it, this is our truth. It's not for those people in the future who have nothing to do with us anyway to rewrite as they please. The garden outside the window was now filled with too many goats to count, all chewing away. Same graphic we used for the cats in episode 7. This repulsive scene stole the words from everyone's lips. They weren't stunned into silence. There was just no point in making a fuss and letting the goats know a certain fact. No point letting them know that there was plenty of prey waiting in this bright, warm room. Prey that was softer and easier to chew than roses or bricks. That goat there, he's looking at us. Silence, don't make a fuss. It's coming this way. Dear me, this does not look good. Oh, they're putting their eyes against the... They saw one of the newly born goat's head slowly turn toward the window. There was already a huge swarm of them in the garden, so it was no surprise when one of them looked around for new prey. It would see the light from this window. Its immense, eerie body slowly approached. As it grew closer, they could finally see it clearly. The eyes blazed despite being cold, ruthless, and reptilian. Those cruel fangs and jaws could tear apart and crush anything. Any fangs that could chew through brick would hardly have a problem chewing through humans. Its massive body had to be taller than the windows themselves, and it was lumbering towards this window. If only this window was made out of special ushir bulletproof glass. And it was, and everyone lived happily ever after. Nothing bad ever happened. I doubt even bulletproof glass would stop that thing. Okay, how about Kamehameha-proof glass? Is that a thing? You know, I always thought, this has never been done in Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if any anime has ever done this. But an idea I came up with called a Crystal Kamehameha. The idea is this. No one's, at least not that I've seen, has solidified an energy attack. And by that I mean, let's say Goku shoots a Kamehameha at you. What if you just simply step to the side, touch the beam, and the entire beam turns into a crystal pillar? And then you just tear off chunks of the Kamehameha and beat Goku. Basically, imagine Goku fires a Kamehameha, and or an energy blast, and just the enemy just turns it into solid quartz crystal, and then swings the Kamehameha like a baseball bat, and hits Goku with the crystallized version of the energy. Or someone shoots say a Vegeta shoots a Big Bang attack and someone just makes it solid, so instead of exploding it just drops to the ground like a bowling ball. Whoa! It's coming, it's running towards us. Allow me to speak. Know that this window shall not be breached. The power of Cornelia's seal formed a shield around the glass. The goat was blown back, unable even to touch the glass because of this power. Its weight made the earth tremble. They could feel that clearly, even inside. But that tremor had also drawn the attention of the nearby goats. A pack of goats started shuffling towards them, and a fight broke out as they each charged forward, trying to reach this new prey first. The window protected by Cornelia's seal would probably be safe, however there were many windows in the Great Hall. For the first time, those windows became a source of terror instead of sunlight and a lovely view. Gertrude? Allow me to speak. Know that this window shall not be breached. Gertrude sealed another window. The goats trying to break in through that one were thrown back. But at the same time, they heard the crash of yet another window being smashed. Scattering fragments of glass everywhere, the massive goats broke through the window frame and entered the building. Wah! So stay back. Everyone stay back. Or, on the first twilight, the 6 chosen by the key. Those words really were coming from the goat's mouth, along with a steaming foul breath. However, it didn't get a chance to say any more. Forehead, neck, shoulder, chest, side, gut, knee. Stakes of the 7 sisters buried themselves in deep, one after another. What rough, unappetizing flesh for piercing. I'd hate to have to gobble up any more of these. The other windows shattered one after another, and several goats squeezed their way in through the window frames. Their mouths were still stuffed with the bricks they had just been snacking on. Each time they chewed, it made a ghastly sound, like bones being crushed. We will repel them. Cheister troops, prepare for close-range combat. Stop. You start firing away and we'll have all the other goats coming to join the party. Let's fall back to the second floor. If we can seal the staircase, that'll buy us some time. Everyone upstairs, hurry! After sniffing noisily as though scanning the smells around them, the goats started chewing on whatever chairs, tables, or curtains were close by. The goats would chew anything to bits as long as it was near them. If the others were careful not to attract the goats' attention, they would be able to escape from this place. The humans ran on ahead up to the second floor, while the illusions, who were used to fighting, guarded the rear. The goats were completely absorbed by their feast on everything in the hall. By now, they were even brutally chewing away at the portrait of Beatrice, which could fairly be called the symbol of the Ushir family itself. Battler, the humans have all taken refuge on the second floor. Good. Lunar, seal all the staircases. Gertrude and Cornelia will handle it. However, they need more time. All over the mansion there were loud beating sounds that might be called knocks and the sound of shattering glass. Well now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for work. 7 Sisters of Purgatory right here. Let's go, you lowlives. Tonight it's all you can eat. Cheister troops, halt all external tasks. Cancel automatic updates, accept no data. Take no prisoners. Eisenjungfrau of the 7th District. By the Territory Lord's order, carry out your duty. I'll lend a hand. Leon, you're in the way. Go up to the second floor. But Will, leave this to us and go. You have your own job to do. Protect your family. I understand. Everyone stay safe. The mansion was filled with the sounds of knocking, crushing, smashing, and chewing. The goats in their wave of destruction was drawing steadily closer. Lord Battler, Gertrude and Cornelia have finished sealing the other staircases. The large staircase here is the only one that remains. The other staircases are tiny, so they went fast. On the other hand, this staircase is huge. Looks like you'll have your hands full buying time. Lambda Delta spoke as though it was someone else's problem. It only took a glance at her face to see that she had no intention of lending a hand. Even so, Beato didn't scold her. This is a game between Battler and Angie. Lambda Delta was only a theater goer who had been invited. Don't think badly of me. Even I'd die if I was torn apart by nothingness. Sorry, but I think I'll stick to being an observer. That's what you've always been. Though it is a shame that we can't ask for your help. Nah, she's being nice. Doesn't want to steal our show. Sure, let's call it that. As a Voyager witch, Lambda Delta could retreat from this game board of battlers if she wanted to. In other words, she was the only one who wasn't in trouble now. See you later. I think I'll watch this game between you and Byrne till the end. I'll be rooting for you. As you munch on popcorn. Of course! I think I'll have some soy sauce butter flavor today. Lambda Delta vanished with a pop. As soon as she did, a black hole opened up in midair and Gape fell out of it. Battler, Riche, could you come here for a second? You should probably see this. Right now? Yes. Let's go. Everyone, we're counting on you to hold this position. When Gape snapped her fingers, a large hole opened up under Battler and Beato, swallowing them both. They were spat out into an inky blackness. Both of them were floating in the night sky. Rock and Jima lay far beneath them, and as soon as they realized this, they shuddered. Though this is It's not just a crowd, it's a sea. It was no longer a crowd of goats, but an entire sea of them, just as Rokkenjima poked out from the ocean. The mansion was now poking out from a sea of goats. People in the future really are amazing. Just how many of them have imagined the tragedy on this island? It's nothing more than the worthless drivel of those outside the cat box. Let's clean this place up. Look over there. It's hard to tell, but look at that at the shoreline. The shoreline? It's easy to make out the harbor. Look closely. See it? Don't tell me. Yeah, you're probably right. They're eating it. They're eating the whole island. Come, try and remember fragments from the future. If only you'd just chew up all the embellishment, all the illusions, all the fantasy. As Ava yelled this to the heavens, hovering about the raging sea, hail fell down with a pale glow. Each was an unlabeled bottle with a fragment inside. They poured onto the island, were smashed to bits, and the fragments inside them scattered everywhere. Every now and then, the fragments would split in two, then split in two again, and every single one of them burst and gave birth to a massive goat. To say it was like bamboo shoots springing up after the rain would be a vast understatement. The goats writhed about like bubbling, boiling water in a pot. They ate away at everything they saw. They didn't just eat the harbor, but the trees and the rocks and the entire coastline itself. Hundreds, thousands, no, tens of thousands of goats continued to eat. They were chewing away at every bit of Rokkenjima of this final game that Battler had prepared. Ha ha ha. Too bad, Battler-kun. The future wants a tragedy on this island. Even Angie wants the truth. Don't worry, we'll chew up all of the embellishment, illusions, and fantasy for you. By now, Battler and the others had to admit it. The future wanted a tragedy. Even if the truth of this island had been a gentle, peaceful thing, the future didn't want that. The truth they wanted was painting over the past. The past is such a fragile thing. Even the cat box is being chewed apart. Just who are these people? Are they really so determined to plunge us into a tragedy? That's all I wanted to show you. Hope this helps a bit when you're making strategic decisions. Yeah, thanks. Now I feel like crap. Let's go to the study next, if you don't mind. Goldsmith wants to talk to you. Gape snapped her fingers, and another black hole swallowed them up and spat them out in the study. Ow, 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 ow. Gape, if you're gonna drop me, at least do it on a bed. Grandfather, we're in trouble. There's absolutely nowhere left to go. I know. And even waiting out the storm from here is not an option. Renova and the others should be able to buy us some time, but that's all. If they just hold up in the mansion, it would only be a matter of time before the swarm of goats got them. Trying to repel a few of the goats, barging into the mansion would be like using a cup to bail water from a boat with a hole in it. We can fight defensively for a while, but it's only a matter of time. We need to think of something while we fight. Can we escape? Where to? Is there any way for us to leave the game board? The outside of the game board is beyond the range of our territory. Only a Voyager witch could leave. Only Burn Castell and Lambda Delta could do it. However, there was no way Burn Castell would help. Even Lambda Delta had already announced that she would be an observer instead of lending a hand. So, there's nowhere left to run. No, there is just one place. Where? The Golden Land. I see. Is that our only option now? Indeed. The Golden Land is the most impenetrable place on this game board. If we wish to escape, it's that or nothing. These things are eating the cat box itself. For all we know, they might start chewing away at the Golden Land itself at any moment. What should we do, Battler? No point thinking about it. We're retreating. If we take too long to make a decision, even that road will be closed to us. Evacuate everyone. How can we open the door to the Golden Land? I just have to open it. However, an immense wave of the anti-magic toxin is emanating from that crowd of goats. It will take some time to open the door. So, we've only got to protect the study with our lives until the door is open. Just have to keep doing what we've been doing. There's one more problem. The door to the Golden Land cannot be shut unless 2 people close it from the outside. 2 from the outside? What do you mean? As soon as he said this, Battler realized this must be the result of some agreement made between the 3 witches who are one. Normally, there's no need to go to the trouble of shutting the door, but it won't be so easy this time. Only you and Beato can fulfill the role of shutting the door. Me as the Territory Lord and Beato. Yeah, it sounds like the safest choice. Indeed. If it's just the 2 of us, we might even be able to protect ourselves. Okay, open the door. Beato waved her pipe, leaving a golden trail behind as she sliced the air vertically. Then the gap of the door to the Golden Land appeared. It looked like nothing more than a thin golden string hanging from the ceiling. If you looked closely, you could see that the string was getting thicker very slowly. The door to the Golden Land certainly was opening, but so slowly that you couldn't even tell if you weren't careful. At this rate, it would probably take quite some time before it grew big enough to let a person through. Grandfather Gape, we'll need you to be our inner line of defense. Yes, there may be goats climbing up the outer walls. Very well. My rifle hungers for some prey. Understood. It'll be fun dropping those things into the abyss. By the way, isn't Gape Futa? A giant was sliced at an angle, split into 2 parts, and fell to the floor, showering with filthy dark blood and guts. Splendidly done. I'll let you take the next one. Countless massive goats, which had forced their way in from rooms and windows all across the mansion, wandered about in search of something to chew. Several of the goats noticed the group of people huddled around the staircase and lumbered closer, but they were pulverized by the merciless attacks. Renove's shields easily halted the charging goats, and Virgilia's magic spears were pitting the giants against the walls. Delanner's and Will's blades were also slicing easily through the goats. The pinpoint strikes of the 7 Sisters of Purgatory could pierce the vitals and finish off any opponent, no matter how large. The Cheister sisters were holding their own too. They had blasted enough goats to bits with one shot from their huge caliber firearms that you couldn't count the kills with both hands. It sounds like Mordor. Given a limited number of options, they were more than a match for these goats. However, they weren't just up against a crowd, but an entire ocean. It was like a pebble trying to face the approaching waves of a stormy sea. Hurry on that gun barrel replacement, requesting cover from the Purgatory troops. So, you run out of ammo and you're nothing but rabbits? Lame. I don't want to hear that from a bunch of 7 paperweights who can only kill 1 person at a time, yeah. Yeah, keep them coming. Don't let us get bored. The hall was filled with massive goat corpses. As if in fear of this sight, the goats that came in at one after another formed a wall, keeping their distance. Perhaps they think they're no match for us. I wish that were true, but it seems to be a little more than wishful thinking. We're running out of mana. Our MP points are low. What are those guys doing? They're looking at us and whispering to each other. Apparently they have the intelligence to talk together and cooperate. What are they, fucking the Geth? The goats surrounded them at a distance whispering. Then they nodded at each other as though deciding something, and the whole group stirred. What are they doing? It almost looks like they're lining up in a different order. The enemy is changing its formation. It appears that the individuals with greater destructive power are being gathered in the front lines. So what? Let's go. Yes, One-sama. Wait, something's wrong. Lucifer took aim at one of them, going for its head. The other 6 sisters followed her lead, trying to pierce the vital organs all over the creature's body. However, there was no sound of pierced flesh. The 7 sisters of Purgatory were knocked back, unable to cause even the smallest wound. But what? What just happened? Those guys are talking about something. The goats kept whispering the same thing over and over again as they slowly approached the 7 sisters. All of them whispered unanimously. All fantasy is fictional. The 7 Sister Purgatory are illusions, personifying stakes for ceremonial sacrifices. They're actually paperweights. As they whispered curses that denied the 7 Sisters' existence, the goats lumbered closer. Get back, Purgatory troops. We'll cover you. It's time you learned a lesson, goats. The golden bows of the Cheister troops mowed down the walls of goats with a shower of bright golden bullets. Some of the goats were torn to pieces, but some of them seemed completely unaffected. Then the goats who were uninjured all whispered as one. The Cheister Sisters' Imperial Guards have Maria's rabbit dolls as their vessels. They're actually rabbit dolls. Maria's imagination, fantasy, fictional beings. All of the crimes can be explained by mystery. All fantasy is irrelevant. Looks like we've got lots of people who won't accept the existence of magic, and that means no magical attacks will have any effect on them. Does that mean all of our attacks will be completely useless? Endless 9, yeah. If they don't accept that we exist, our attacks can't hurt them, yeah. Is that possible? We'll have to test it. Renove stepped forward, stamped on the floor twice, and a red barrier rose up in front of him. The crowd of goats dashed into it with terrifying force. While some goats were blown away by it, several of them slipped right through the magical barrier. Renove is a creature of magic, a creature of fiction. Genji is Renove's vessel. He is an imaginary version of Genji. I see. So even my attacks will not affect some of them. There was no longer any point in Virgilia trying out her magic spear. Now that some of the goats had decided that her existence was fictional, she could no longer hurt them. Even these great demons and great witches, as well as high-level furniture and weapons, were overcome with the fear that the crowd that surrounded them, and a crowd that would not be affected by any of their attacks. We figured out that Virgilia is Kumasawa. What are we going to do? We'll have to keep fighting until the end. You don't have permission to die in battle. Fantasy is all fiction. Fantasy is all fiction. Fantasy is all fiction. A shriek from one of the goats became a signal for the wall of them to break. They pushed forward with gaping mouths and foul breath, each trying to reach their prey first, trying to return these fictional creatures to nothingness. Look out! Virgilia leapt in front of and held several of the 7 sisters who had fallen on their butts, overpowered by the ferocity of the approaching goats. However, even Virgilia was a fictional creature to these goats. They could shoot through her like cotton candy. Madam, quickly. Renove threw himself at the oncoming goats. Even he would be chewed apart easily. Knowing this, Renove leapt forward. Even if my magic no longer functions, I am still the fiercely passionate and loyal man I always was. And furthermore, did you expect that I would simply sit by and watch a lady die? Renove is fantasy. Renove is fantasy.